Hello, everybody. Really glad to be here. This energy is really great. It's been a journey. Really excited to dive into some of the work that we've been doing here at Just Air. Before we get started, just want to keep the energy high. And a lot of things going on in the world, our country, and our state. And so we want to make sure what Grandfather says, stay on the ground. So it's happy that we're going to talk about some health disparities, talk about some real critical issues, but want to be hopeful that we do. So first, I'll start off saying what Just Air is all about. We're all about protecting the 20,000 breaths that a human takes on average per day. And why that is important is because for many communities that are often underserved or over-indexed for air pollution, and typically communities of color, those communities are often saturated with pollutants that contribute to health disparities. And we see here, see like a lot of, sorry, this out the way. All right, so what you see here is just a map of Chicago and highlighting two communities on the west and south side of Chicago. And if people are familiar with those neighborhoods, those are most predominantly Black and brown communities that have the highest rates of asthma inpatient hospitalization from ages 1 to 19. So it really brings us home, and it's not unique to Chicago. And many urban cores in our country, many communities are facing disparities around health because of the area. The real issue, and I promise you we're going to get to what we're talking about, and it's also a big issue that it costs the U.S. Air pollution costs U.S. $600 billion annually, and it's largely contributing to health outcomes, people not being able to work in the workplace, and obviously the unfortunate circumstance where someone loses their life due to early death because of air pollution related issues. Real quick here, one of the real issues is that there are not enough air quality monitors to understand and have a better sense. So we focus on granularity and different technology to observe the environment. We deploy monitors, we manage those monitors, and we also provide insights. This will kick off some of our work here. It's not just a monitor and sensing of pollutants, but we're doing computer vision, we're doing other mapping tools, so we have a better understanding of pollutant sources to come from. It's a pilot in Grand Rapids, doing some great work there with the community. And get some learnings there. In that community, we did a study. We have health disparities. Again, I'm just giving you some context of what we're all about. This will make a lot more sense later. And last thing I'll say is that this is really important in my situation because I developed asthma 3 years ago, but also brought me closer to my father, who I'm very excited to see today. I haven't seen him and my little brother since COVID, but he had dealt with asthma all through his life, and unfortunately, he wasn't diagnosed until he was incarcerated at the age of 27. And upon his release, I saw those issues of having to work manual labor, those issues, the stresses that put in the lung. So it really motivated me to take some of my abilities and technology to see if we can make a dent in some of these issues. A little bit about technology here, but I'll skip that and get to the real thing. Let's go over here. All right, now we're talking about what we're here for. It is Trucking Traffic Tracker. I like to say that a lot. And what you see here is just that. A great deal of pollutants, and researchers have seen this, is that trucking traffic causes a great deal of source of pollutants for communities. They often go through those communities I mentioned before, Black and brown, underrepresented and underserved communities. And the real impact is that some communities and cities today are trying to figure out a way to combat this, right? Incentivizing, penalizing, trying to reroute, trying to really think about how to structure policy to make sure that we create equity in the air we breathe around traffic issues. Detroit has an example of that. They had a anti-idling enforcement that really tough to enforce about 10 years, and they haven't written a ticket. That was since October, so I'm not sure since then have they written a ticket. But that really inspired that, and what really inspired me was conversations with my community member, Raquel, from Southwest Detroit Environmental Division. So she's my neighbor. She does a lot of environmental justice, community engagement. She mentioned how she does work in measuring pollutants and trucking traffic data. And so what's inspired us to do is to create a computer vision algorithm that will allow us to intake a video, where today many environmental justice groups are on a clipboard or video recording. Actually, not just environmental justice groups, universities such as UCLA, who've done impact studies around this stuff, or taking video footage, skimming through video footage. Takes a lot of time and resources, but we're doing that in a matter of seconds. But yeah, and it's demo time. So this interface right here, very simple, very straightforward. The idea, to give you an overall view of tech really quick, is that user inputs a video right now. In the future, I'll talk more about that later, is where we're gonna have live cameras, but for now, we want to just help those groups who are mainly looking to spend hours when they can be engaging with the community in front of a computer screen and just watching trucks, counting them. And so we have a couple files I'll show. So first, we have to name the file because it creates a, it generates a file for us. So the name that file, pick that file. So I'm uploading a video. Just running a video, and over time, towards the end of the video, it will display all the boxes. So you play the video, you see, you can tell from this view, and then it goes down a list and it captures what second the truck appears.
Hey, everybody please stand up just for a minute. Yeah. You in tiny town, you put your hands on your hips, lean all the way to one side, all the way to the front, all the way to the other side, and start to connect the dots. And keep going, don't stop until we tell you to. You can go faster or the other way.
It's disco time. Tiny town townspeople, shake your booty.
There's your dance. Well, thank you for shaking your booty. You can ask now. Yeah. I'm Kay, and this is Maria. We run an online after-school program called Tiny Town for kids during the pandemic. And during our sessions together, we get them to role play their own characters, add their own drawings, and build a world together on a shared browser page. So when we found out about the Urban Technology Prototype Grant, we thought it would be a good opportunity to offer this open world building space as an alternative to slow and bureaucratic town hall meetings, gathering petitions, and doing anti-gentrification work, as a place for city activists, organizers, and caretakers to co-create a city from scratch and playtest their wildest dreams for their beloved city. So we reached out to our friends at University of Orange to join our program as participants because we've experienced their heart-centered approach to learning and healing together as an important part of cultivating just and equitable cities. So we met with them for an hour a week for 10 weeks, and this is their 10-year anniversary. Sure. So this season of Tiny Town, 10 episodes total, we invited our participants to add their own characters, their own homes, even villains, and some strange public spaces to hang out. You can see some of their homes on this map that we're scrolling through. This is one of the participants' home. Coach Rose is their character's name. It's Coach Rose. And then to the right, you see like some condos, a highway running through the city, and it's loosely inspired by Orange, New Jersey, and geography. These are some of the places that their characters hang out. There's a bakery that sells fish food, an outdoor auditorium in the park, a pond to meet up at, a bus depot where all the buses come through town, and a community center that hosts citywide potlucks. Here's one of the potlucks that one of the participants hosted, where people were invited to bring food that reminded them of home. So with 2 years of experience teaching kids in Tiny Town, we somehow didn't expect that kids and adults would play so differently. We'll show you a side-by-side comparison of adults and kids role-playing kind of the same scene. So here are the kids.
Thanks for coming into my lounge. Oh, we didn't come here. I think we got like teleported here, maybe? What are you talking about? Dad, you haven't teleported me to the night, but I think she was a little tired, so she accidentally teleported us here.
Here are the adults.
What kind of snacks do you like to eat?
I'm more of a, pterodactyl based diet.
So kids kind of naturally disrupted social norms, interrupted each other, and easily accepted and imagined these like bizarre new realities. And later during a Q&A session that we had at the beginning of class, one of the adults expressed that she felt a lot of pressure to say something specific or clever. And when she ran into a new character, she wasn't sure if she was supposed to say, like, what the right answer, what the right thing to do was.
And we really wanted to let them know in our time together that they can really do whatever they wanted, whatever they imagined in Tiny Town. And so we designed several prompts and tools to guide them into being more vulnerable, intentional, bold, and committed. And this tool is the check-in question. We asked them, what is an important place from your past that shaped who you are now that no longer exists? And this is what they shared.
It smelled like pine needles and there was a little picnic bench. Pretty special.
My dad and I would walk across the fields to Toot Hill in search of dinosaur footprints. We would also collect moss.
Which was like a really like friendly place for a kid because my grandma was really short. She was like 4'10" or like 4'9", and so everything was like really nice level.
I just remember that. That's so, it was so beautiful. And it was just wonderful. It's just great. There was lots of music.
And we did that exercise at the beginning of class before they made their homes, so that what they created was based in, like, really grounded in their own experiences.
Another thing that we wanted to do in Tiny Town was invite their full selves, including like the difficult parts of themselves, like their emotions that they find difficult and try to suppress, like anger or jealousy or grumpiness. So in this exercise, we got them to write down emotion that they're struggling with currently, and then embody it in their character. So here you'll see these characters being a little bit grumpy while responding directly to the digital environment.
Nails. Jesus.
Where are we now?
We're at Teeth and Nails. Just get the sense that there's nothing in town that really meets our needs. So, I mean, neither of us have hands.
Four mouths.
So the exercise kind of helped them express tensions that they had about the town, and then also later they mentioned that it made them realize and cherish their handless solidarity.
Yeah, a lot of characters had no hands. Another warm-up we did to warm up their voices was that they had to say the sentence, "I'm a rubber ducky and I eat cake for breakfast," with one of the emotions that land on this wheel. And for one of the participants, this was actually a very terrifying but useful exercise because it taught them that, I actually can express myself in a strong emotion. I just need more time and it's okay to ask for it. This is a drawing warm-up we did with them because drawing is actually very hard when you grow older if you don't draw all the time. And we wanted to create a low stakes drawing exercise where they could only draw something for 30 seconds, couldn't be precious or perfectionist about it. And we had them make their own prompts and like arrangements by mixing public spaces and settings together, like a grocery store that sells instruments, and they'd have to draw that for 30 seconds. This exercise actually created a zone, a grocery store that sells instruments that was successful with both the kids and adult cohorts.
What are you paying with today? Money? All right, and would you like to sing for an 89% off discount? Okay. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You covered. You covered.
And the adults did it too.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
One of our participants said that it was really special to doodle together and then stumble on their things that they made in the city, because it really felt like we were building a place together.
In the end, for their last class, we had a debrief, and where we kind of like diary little responses to prompts together. And the refreshing and floating participant said that the 1 hour in the very busy and tired week felt really spacious and restful. And La Roca said that it was really nice to be able to reconnect with her imaginary childhood friend from the 1950s in Nashville, Tennessee. She got to reconnect with that part of herself. And then a couple days ago, one of our participants called us and he said that him and several other of the participants had particularly despair-filled winters, lots of bad news. And in the midst of this despair, Tiny Town was the most important thing he did. He was initially resistant to playing pretend and indulging in whimsy, but he realized it actually felt really good. And it literally became the 1 hour in the week that he could lift his head, and he always felt feeling a lot better. We started this project to support our city's hardworking activists, organizers, and caretakers to rest, play, and manifest their visions unencumbered. Grace Lee Boggs said, "It's up to us to reimagine the alternatives and not just protest against them and expect them to do better." We believe that imagination is power, and we want to continue to reconnect adults with their native language of imagination through drawing, role-playing, and being silly.
Through the course of this project, we've come to see Tiny Town as a place for healing for both kids and adults, where they can acknowledge all parts of themselves and experiment and express different identities, ideas, arrangements, and also rehearse ways to take care of themselves and others. What was more important to us than trying to build a perfect city with the limited set of digital tools we had was actually relearning how to express ourselves freely, and even in times of despair, consciously prioritizing joy in the spaces we create together. Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to start off on a quick note that I really admire like both of your projects, like the motivation and the methods you use. Like, yeah, every time like when I see them, like I don't know, I feel really inspired by the way how you approach things, the way how you envision things, and I don't know, like even that experience is already worth it for me. So by saying that, and in contrast to that, I'm just making an app, but I hope to do better in the future. My name is Daan van der Zwaaf, and I'm an urban tech student at Cornell Technion in New York City. And this is a graduate degree both focused on information science, computer science, and all the lessons from urban design, urban planning. And it's also an iterative process. So we're at the second year. Sometimes we're doing well, sometimes it can be better. But to be part of it is really exciting, especially because it reconnects all of the things that I love. I like design, which my background is in. I like technology, which I'm currently working in. And I like to solve problems in society, which has always driven me through my past work. So I started this project Fides as a spin-off of my thesis back in 2018 of health data to prevent medical errors with blockchain. And I quickly failed because I did not understand the field well enough. I did not understand the bottlenecks. So this is like almost like a reiteration on the same IP, and which the name Fides stands for, which is trust in Latin. And I believe that trust in data, in ourselves, in our systems surrounding us, is a way how to move further, because we have a lot of challenges up ahead. So at least we should trust each other. To give a bit of context, which is this prototype kicked in, we see a lot of changes on the internet. Some of them we understand, but most of them I even don't understand, and I've been living on the internet. But a couple trends are really important to me. I don't like NFTs in the way how to be positioned, but the value that we get from them, that people can create art, they can create content, and they can monetize it, is a really important step for me in a way how we can design a better way of living in the digital space. But there are a couple of challenges. First of all, there's no consent in the digital space. We just click and accept, we share our data, we basically give our lives away to companies who make billions and billions over a web. So organizations are kicking in. How can we redesign governments? How can we redesign power systems? And we also see finally a trend coming in of privacy regulations. California leading the case in the US, and GDPR, where we collectively came together and said, okay, we need to do better. We need to protect our privacy from all the people that are trying to benefit from us. And that's a lot. And sometimes we do not realize it. And not to end on this negative note, but like one thing I like to share is that our most valuable digital asset we have is not ours yet. We do not have control over it, and we just share it every second of the day. Like, I'm sure all of your phones are now sharing your most important digital asset, or as they call it, the digital gold, or oil. And it's location data. It's just simple to see. It's just like 4 lines of data, which indicates your latitude and longitude. It indicates the time and maybe the elevation or the time you've been in. And building upon what Darren said, like the zip code, the position where you're in defines your whole life. And to be more granular about it, the way how you travel within that zip code and how you move around even defines how you interact with products, interact with systems, families, organizations surrounding you. For example, if I bike this morning to school, then I do grocery at, what's the thing here in the US? Trader Joe's. And then I move back to my neighborhood. Based on that data, you can quite accurately describe my income, which is almost really painful to see that we're living in a society with patterns. And this is also where the urban technology kicks in, because we will learn from the data to do better. A lot of fields will benefit from this. You can see that, but academia, retail, even hedge funds, they predict where neighborhoods will be gentrified. Everything surrounding your location brings in value, but we do not always realize that. So, which is stunning to me that this only the raw data, so only the ugly stuff, you don't need to hire data scientists, companies doing analytics, making observations, only the raw data is worth 12 billion a year. And to me, this is shocking because the analytics and the geolocation data analytics is even grander than this. And I couldn't verify this number for today, but expect 10 to 20 times bigger than this. So this article almost gave me the sanity check of the project I was building at the beginning of the year. And these 2 researchers found out that all your data is basically being owned by 47 companies in the US. So to me, this says you can be number 48. You can do better. There's room for improvement. And even doing 1% of improvement, is that enough? I don't know, because I want to do 100%. And this system is an approach to that. So this 12 billion, maybe someone earned something from it. I never earned anything for my data. Not even a coupon, not even an event I could get a discount to. Not even a mayor's office said, if you vote for me, you get this. Nothing. I just give away this data, and that's it. That's the end of the loop. And as I said, the privacy regulations, they're kicking in, which I'm really, really proud about, but this is going to be a long journey. So in the meantime, like can we imagine a system that we can do better? Like, do we need to create a transition technology? Do we need to create a whole new system? And I feel this right now is the time to see that the regulations surrounding us do have a positive impact, but we need to accelerate them with our own systems. And this also is really painful to me. Let's say a system is there, you earn money from your data. You cannot control who sees your data, who uses it for what. Maybe Apple uses it to launch a new self-driving car. And maybe you do not agree with their policies, but on the same side, you want to support the University of Michigan in their research, in their nonprofit research, how to build better communities, how your startup is analyzing the neighborhood. Maybe you're down with that and you want to share that. So that the level of control about what you share to whom to what, which in real life is also very important. If you think about consent, should be translated to the digital space. So this is the current system. We give our location data to mobile phone apps, telecom providers, AT&T, T-Mobile, dating apps, Google Maps. And I heard that there are 2 people in the world who only have access to the database of Google Maps, 2. And they cannot be in the same place at the same time. They cannot be in air on the ground at the same time. They have to communicate to stay apart, even in a nuclear blast. So imagine you go to all these lengths to protect the location data. It means something is wrong. So businesses buy these data sets, they have expensive data scientists, they do analytics on this data. Most of the time, to give an example, for example, the New York City government is doing research in traffic accidents. They just download the data of billions of people, billions of data points, and they pay a hefty price for it. Like sometimes a data set costs up to $500,000 just for 1 week. So this is the loop. And as you can see here, I like symmetry, but you see probably something is missing here. So that's what I proposed with Fides. We just want to close the loop. It's not that I don't agree with that the data will give us insights and give us better opportunities, but we should reward the consumers, the people in this process. Otherwise, it's worth nothing to me. So you can check out after this slide, and I'll said basically everything. We're a decentralized location sharing app. We sell your data. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And in the process, we secure it, we anonymize it, and we protect you. So even I do not have access to the participants of the app. Like I need to pay for them to get access. And to build in this logical, algorithmic, and technology almost to protect ourselves is really important in the value of what we're building. This is the latest prototype. As you can see, you can ask some questions. If you've been to the Nike store in Soho, great. What do you think about the latest release? And Nike will actually value this data more because otherwise they couldn't track these people down. So you see your earnings and you can control. That's it. It was too simple to be true. So for the people, we focus on making their data equitable. We do daily cash outs, whether we're going to build this on crypto or other new systems coming along. Like we almost want to use the monetary system as an independent source to take cash outs. Maybe it's going to be coupons. Maybe it's going to be something else that gives you value. For now, we're bound to the US dollar, and the underlying technology that we have is a utility token on a blockchain. But we want to keep the blockchain and the crypto talk very far away from the concept we're building because that's not the interesting part. It's just the best tool for the job on a small percentage of our technology chain, which is like 20–30%. We focus on privacy. As I said, our algorithm shuffles the data, makes it more anonymous. There have been a lot of use cases in location data where people are being tracked down. We see now with the AirTags, Apple's released, I think it's the worst product in the world. A lot of stalking, a lot of harassment. We need to make sure with the sources can never happen. And finally, you can decide who buys which data when. And even maybe you sold it 2 years ago, but you do not agree with her statements right now, you remove it. So for the technological savvy people here, it's just an API where you send the data and get the data, and meanwhile, we can toggle on the access. So you think, okay, great, but why the hell would people even buy this data? Like, what's the worth to a company if just only a few people with this app on their phone send this data? And not only that's a good question just as a business model, but we think, first of all, like we're stronger together. If a lot of people have this app, a lot of people will buy this data, but we can offer something more. We can Can't really see it that well. I really like the design, like dark backgrounds, but now it's not
Maybe
really.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This was visible, this was. Okay. So because we have a decentralized system connecting companies to the people sending the data, we can also reconnect them. One of the biggest problems I saw using data science tools, if you buy a data set of 100,000 people, you cut away the beginning 20 and the ending 20, because this data is just not valuable to you because it's unorganized, it's chaotic, maybe even an outlier, someone who spends 8 hours on JFK. It's easier to remove them, to ask them the question, why were you 8 hours on JFK? So with the system, we can reconnect people. And as a data buyer, you said, okay, we just only want to buy data of this specific people in this specific neighborhood, and we reward them with that money. So instead of spending $100,000 on a big data set, you spend a more granular, more focused, and it will directly go to the people. Because we have a consent for a system, this is the most important thing for me. We are not only GDPR, CCA proof, but also something that exists in the future. And I say this not because I believe this will be the future, but I think a future that we really can help build. That if we have consent in our digital space, we own it. And also, let's be honest, why do people buy green energy? Why do companies promote that they're doing good stuff for the environment? It sometimes comes out of marketing and PR. And that's a go-to-market strategy we have. Like, we don't think that's a bad thing. Like, they're the early adopters, they're buying these data sets. So we want to connect to the companies who not only value the green impact they have around them in their environmental and in their energy, but also on the data level. And I don't want to toss the term, but green data is really a thing, and I hope this will be a part of it. So let's skip a bit ahead about the proto grant. I just want to talk a little bit about the process, the insights I gathered, and the future of the system. Because honestly, I don't know, and it's just really exciting. And just a quick side note, the proto grant for me was a sanity check. This is in fact something to move along with, and that has been really helpful in my growth, both as, I wouldn't say academic, but both as a researcher, student, and professional. It was just like the nudge in the right direction. So thanks. I spent a lot of hours in building the app because I find it very fun to build apps and to design apps. So I spent more time into it than it was actually necessary. And it's where me and Anthony talked a lot about. We had a lot of meetings. He even once came straight off the airport from LaGuardia to meet me downtown to have a drink with me. So I really respect that. It was not necessary, but I really appreciate that. I ended up with one prototype. I don't have my phone. Which you can download. So I can send out links to download. And the app is, you see it here, is that simple? It's enlarged. It's just a toggle on sharing or not to share. And it doesn't say anything, but it will generate an anonymous ID. It will give you credits based on the amount of data you shared. And it gives you credits based on an algorithm that even I don't know how it works. It just randomizes. And like, I really need to have a technical co-founder at this point, but the algorithm decides on the frequency of your sharing and also how often you toggle. For example, if you only want to be tracked between 9 and 5, great, but you earn more points because you're in control. So the motivation and the stimulation is also designed back in the algorithm, but I of course need to. I did a survey. I hoped to have more respondents, but then spring break happened and I didn't promote it that good. So that's a note to myself. I really want to push the survey more to learn what happened. Yeah, as you can see, it just sends the raw data to our server. We scramble it. We, again, for the tech-savvy people, we tokenize it. So we embed it in a coin living on the blockchain, and we push it on the chain. So this data is not publicly available data, but you can see Darren pushed his 5-hour data to the chain. So it's almost a collection of points living on a public chain. However, nobody has access unless someone buys it of you, and it will decrypt. That's the technological background. Then again, this decentralized system is only working locally. It's not working on any production level because that was not the focus of this brand. What else? Yeah, I have some important challenges to myself and to the people who are going to join me to work on this. So how do you authenticate in a decentralized system? Do you need to say you are you, or can you also be something and something? And this question both has arms in ethics and in privacy and in very deep down blockchain courses. But it's an interesting challenge we have because right now you authenticate with your mobile phone number, which is quite insane because you can track down your phone number to see who you are. They got this data set already. Also the rewarding system, how much worth is your data? I don't know. Like how much is it worth to you? Should we adapt to the individual level? Should we have like a larger consensus about what data is worth? And finally, the purpose. Is this really a tool to do better, or can we even that governments, that academia, and that private companies can embed in their own technologies to make sure all the data gets rewarded? Some quick insights from the survey because I think I'm running a bit out. What's really interesting to me, and I wouldn't have known without the survey and this grant. People don't value monetization that much. They don't care if they get $1 a day. Well, they do care, but they're very skeptical about it. So what they right now prefer is the security and control over the monetization. So if we can promise the security, we can say, look, really nobody can touch it, which is also never true in information science, but let's say we really make the chance smaller, it gets hacked, and we give you control who sees what, when, why, the GDPR, CCPA. They like to use a system like this, so that's very positive. Also, the people that have been interviewed have almost no trust in the institutions they're giving their data to, whether it's going to be big corporations, Google, Facebook, or even local governments, which touches on an urban tech question, like how much should governments be involved in someone's personal data space? And they even trusted individuals more over governments, which is shocking to me. Basically, when you give all my data, the survey says you trust me more than your local government. And I'm not even trained to be a local government. I don't even have transparency. I'm one entity. And also the monetary value for data has a high variance. There's one joker said like $100 a day. Some people say I give it away for free, but I want to know who gets it. Another part of my research, because I'm still in school, so I unfortunately couldn't spend full time on the project. I took a lot of courses in privacy, security, and blockchain. Not to pretend I have any knowledge about it, but to better understand where the challenges and the bottlenecks of the technological side are. I found out that I found privacy classes the most fun, and also very shocking that we actually give away too much and we don't have any control. So this again confirms the problem market fit for me. So it is a viable and feasible idea, both in the way there's a problem market fit. Yes, there needs to be a lot of research. Yes, there needs to be a lot of bottlenecks resolving, but I really believe with resources, this can be challenged. We can just frame it as a software company. We get that money and we put it in the right place. Some personal things, I found out this is what I want to do. And that's, I don't know, a really good indicator for me that I'm in the right time with the right problems. And I'm really gonna dedicate all my time towards this. I'm looking for a co-founder. I talked to a few people. I try to be outside the cohort of my school. What else? Yeah, looking for pre-seed over the summer. I'm gonna try to write a white paper. I'm a really bad writer, so I hope someone can help me with that. And I want to aim for a more open source solution because I worked a while for an open source blockchain company, and I saw the value of the community, like teaching me each day how to write better code, for example. And also believe on an algorithm level and on the decision-making level, this system should be open source. And then the app we have can be get like intellectual property. This touches on another thing. Again, I'm running out of time. the Dutch government, I'm Dutch, by the way, I'm from Amsterdam, has an open algorithms, a transparent library, how they make decisions within the government, translated back into code. And I think it's super impressive, but nobody understands. So this is also something I want to aim for with a white paper. Maybe it's just going to be an article. And I'm going to spend this coming summer, not taking any holidays. I'm going to build the most desirable product, and I'm going to spend my full time on it to finally see if it's something worth. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I want to give a big shout out to Anthony. You were my complete sanity check throughout the whole process. You kept me on guard, sometimes let me off, and then pushed me back in. You tested the term CEO, Chief Enthusiast Officer, but also a strong advisor in all things touching. Like, are you going to go for it? Is it a business? Is it something you want to do? Or do you want to grow towards? So I see that both on a project level and a personal level. I really appreciate you. So rounding it up, these are my two final slides. With Fides, I want to improve a better relationship between data and the entities using it around us. It's a big trend that we see, at least in information science, that companies and governments around us should think more about who and how we can profit from the data we give away. So I want to end on a note. I hope this system will be more equitable, ethical, and equal. And finally, on an urban tech level, I hope that we're going to live in a city where we can pay taxes with our data. That data is becoming our monetary system, that we see the value of it as much as we see value in ourselves, in the way how we live, about our health, about our mental health, our wellness, our education. I hope data will be this underlying connecting system. And I hope, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna ensure that we're gonna be the first decentralized layer between us and the cities we live in. Thanks.